Hi everyone and welcome. Welcome to Pink Lady Presents, a world filled with people that are living their lives well. Every ethnicity, every age, and every walk of life. And today, you know how I always say, dear audience, that when I grow up I want to be like somebody, or when I come back the second time around? Well, I found that person. Today with our fabulous, fabulous guest, a queen of glitz and glamour. Welcome, Miss Tosh.
Thank you, Pink, so much for having me.
I am so excited.
I'm so excited.
I know.
I feel like a kindred spirit.
Yes, we really are.
My long-lost sister.
I mean, it's
Seriously.
like, hello, well, I could be your aunt. Actually, I could be your grandmother, so that's okay.
Well, you're my glamour sister.
I love it. Well, you know, it's funny. When you talk to people, sometimes you immediately, sometimes either you feel a kindredship or you don't. And I think we certainly do.
Instantaneous.
So you're a designer. You're a producer.
Yes.
And you also said something. You said, anything is possible when you dream. I love that.
I think that's
love
so
that.
true.
So when I ask you something about who you are, who is Miss Tosh? Where did you start? Where were you born? And what area? And what did you do as a little kid? Let's talk about it.
Okay, well, I grew up in Venice Beach.
Ah, okay.
Right? Kind of an unusual place to grow up. Okay. I had like Chainsaw Juggler was my neighbor, you know, and growing up on the boardwalk. So my childhood was like the world is a circus, of course, right?
Love it.
So I kind of had a reverse culture shock when I traveled going, the world is not the circus that I know. So I was like, people need to experience this fantasy and this joy and this creativity in the world. But my childhood was pretty rough. You know, my parents split up when I was quite young, and I had a single mom and my grandmother who sold her house.
And they both helped you, right? Yeah. I was going to talk about that because you were brought up by a single mom.
Yes.
But a lovely grandma.
And my grandmama, G-Mama.
And there was a story that you told, and I read it, about some clothes or...
yes.
So tell us that story.
Yeah, so my...
I mean, you weren't Rockefeller.
No.
So, okay, she was not Rockefeller.
Still not, but...
I get it.
We can dress like we are.
There you go. Okay, tell us about that.
But, you know, my mom, she always encouraged creativity. And so from a young age, you know, they didn't have a lot of money. Right. So my mom made my clothes for school, right? And so I thought I was super cool because what I was wearing, nobody had. And even though, like, kids would be like, oh, what's that weird, like, poncho thing? I was like, you wish you had this poncho.
Right. It's going to be the big thing,
and then I started getting excited. I'm like, oh, Mom, can you make me these leopard wrap pants and this tube top? And, you know, I wanted her to make me all these cool things. And she's like, absolutely. So from an early age, my relationship with my mom was drawing and her sewing and fitting
and supportive.
And so supportive. And she was so joyful, too, because she didn't have the pressure of me going, I need this designer thing, that designer thing to fit in with the kids. I was dead set on standing out.
Love it. Now, you're fifth generation. I love this, everyone. She's a fifth generation Angelino with a legacy of vaudeville. Mm-hmm. Wow. Now, your great-great-grandmother, Maisie Evans, tell us who and what she was.
Well, Maisie Evans is actually a recent discovery of mine. Oh. And I did not know I was carrying on her legacy throughout all these years, performing, doing burlesque and shows.
How did you find out?
My dad came to my show for the first time in 2019 and said, hey, this is the stuff you've been doing. You know, this showgirl stuff. You know, this is your great-great-grandmother. Oh, and I'm like, who? And then I look into it and I said, oh, well, I got to go research and see her show clippings and her posters and things like this. And I found a clipping, and I had just, you know, saved up all my bucks to make this burlesque show of my dreams. And I was like, you know, we're going to have it on Valentine's Day at the Globe Theater. Oh. And I find this clipping of her, and she had her farewell show 100 years ago.
On Valentine's Day.
On Valentine's Day.
At the Globe Theater.
At the Globe Theater.
I love it.
So
oh my God.
The people that run the theater and I say that her ghost, kind of called us to the theater.
Well, she was doing, her act was
Yes.
as strongman art.
Yeah,
I mean,
she
what was
did,
that?
the whole kind of vaudeville striped swimsuit, handlebar mustache man throwing the girl around the air. That was her.
Oh,
and I found in this clipping a description of the show she produced.
And what was the name
it was,
of it?
And it was, it was like the Globe Theater presents Maisie Evans, right?
Oh, my.
And her show was hosted by a female MC. She had, drag of the time in the show, the full vaudeville. She had comedy, she had burlesque, and then she, of course, did her strongman act and her song and dance.
Oh, my.
And I just
what a legacy,
I was
Miss
blown away.
Tosh.
So now, with everything that I'm doing, I really, really feel blessed by her in my DNA.
I mean, it's a phenomenal,
Right?
but
There's more.
there's more. It's like tune in next week. No, tune in right now.
Tune in right
and
now,
watch
yeah.
right now. You also had a great aunt
Yes.
whose name was
Betty Healy.
Betty Healy, who married Ted Healy. Now, you don't know where we're going with this, but we're going.
We're
We're going. Ted Healy created, I think, one of the best group people in show business, vaudeville, the Three Stooges.
The Three Stooges.
Tell us about that and how
So-
you found out. I mean, that is like, hello.
So, my dad's sharing this story with me, and my mom's at the show, and she goes, well, I've got a story too. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what is going on here? She goes, your great aunt is Betty Healy. And I'm like, Ted Healy's wife?
So you knew.
I didn't know. I found this all out at the same time.
Oh, my God.
And I
Okay.
said, okay, so this is in my DNA. And so, but what's exciting with Betty Healy is we can find video and footage of her performing with Ted. But, the stories of them and their stage shows is really what I'm so excited about.
Oh.
And how they came about creating the Three Stooges, right? And so it just gave me so much confirmation that this was my purpose.
shows.
Humor is super sexy.
I know.
It is the most important
That's
thing.
right. Without that, forget
Yeah,
it.
you can be beautiful, but if you're not funny,
Right.
forget it.
I always said to somebody, you got to be cute, adorable, but you got to be funny.
And witty.
And witty. And witty. So, going back to your single mom and
Yes.
your grandma, as a teenager, you always wanted to dance.
Yes.
So, I mean, you chose the right place here.
Yeah.
Was Debbie
Debbie Allen, her dance
for
academy.
dance academy. But how did
Yeah.
you got a scholarship? Tell us
Yes.
about that.
So my mom, the best that she could, put me in the dance classes she could afford. But ballet and these academies are extremely expensive.
Very much.
And it broke
Even
her
then,
heart.
even
Oh,
then.
yeah, and it breaks her heart to see her daughter wanting to do something and she couldn't afford to do it. So, she's researching and hears about Debbie Allen's Dance Academy, and she offers scholarships for young people, and still today, for the whole tuition
Fabulous.
if you get in. And I mean, it still to this day was the most cutthroat audition I've been a part of.
Really?
Really. And I mean, the philosophy there is it doesn't matter your age, it matters your skill. So you're not
Okay.
put into an advanced level because you're 18.
I like that.
If you're 5 years old and you can do it,
can do it?
you're in it.
I like that. Okay.
And it just showed that this kind of camaraderie among age and skill, and I would stand behind the younger dancers and learn how to do these things.
But you got a
yeah.
scholarship.
I got in, and I mean, it was the first time my mom bought me toe shoes.
Oh,
She just said, I can tell your feet are strong, you throw these on and you go in there and you audition.
Wow.
And I did it, and
Now, how old were you when you
I
did
was
it?
12 years
Oh,
old.
my.
12 years old.
But you had
Yeah. But
gumption.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
you know what I'm
And I was
saying.
like, I'm going to come get it.
I
And
love
so
it.
you have to, if you want it, especially within showbiz, you have to want it more than anyone else in order to
do it.
to
and go
perform.
ahead.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you have to tell yourself, I want this.
This is it for
This is
me.
it. Yeah.
Remember, be who you are.
Be who
I know
you are.
who I am.
Yes.
And we will be right back.
It's about the humans. These humans, those humans, groovin' and golden. It's about getting more than health insurance and a partner who listens and acts. Humana calls it human care. It's talking to a doctor from your couch or helping you find a cheaper prescription before you ask. It's helping you fix the rugs so you don't fall and keeping you social, online or off. It's getting to know you so you can be your healthiest. That's our superpower. That's human care from Humana.
I'll always like your flowers. You phone me after hours or asking me tonight to cruise the town. But if it isn't love, don't rush me. Slow down, slow down, slow down.
So how long did you go to Debbie Allen's class?
I danced there for 13 years.
Wow.
13 years.
Fabulous.
So my childhood. And
I love it.
I would take the bus after school and be there till 10 o'clock at night. So
Now, did you
the whole time
feel that you missed out on anything on your youth?
my senior year of high school, I stopped dancing. And I was like, maybe I'm missing out on what all the other kids are doing. And I regret taking that year off.
I get it. I get
Regret,
it. No,
'cause
I get it. I get it. But you
you
do,
know.
a lot of people that I ask that question do say the same thing.
Yeah.
And that they do regret it. Because
Yeah.
if you have something in your mind that you want to do it all the way. Be committed.
It's so true.
Now, you earned a BA, Bachelor of
did.
Arts, at a very prestigious college, the Art Institute of Chicago. Now, what did you major in? What was your major?
Well, when I was 18, I was dancing and injured myself. And I was
Ooh,
like, okay,
okay.
well, then I can't audition for dance companies.
Ooh.
So I had this painting portfolio that I did on the side for fun because I love painting. I'm just a very creative. Even in COVID,
No,
I was
you
like,
are
I need to
creative.
make something with my hands. I'm over
Love
here
it.
building cabinets. Like, no matter what, my hands have to be doing something.
love it.
So I was like, okay, well, let's see if I can get into art school. And so I went to these all of these interviews, and my
Right.
SAT score was horrible. Horrible.
But you were creative.
But I was
That's what
creative.
they
So
look
I
for.
just said,
That's
hey,
right.
why not? Let's see. And I connected with one of the deans of the school, and she just looked at my portfolio and met me, and she says, can you afford to go to the school? And I said, no, not at all. And she
Right.
goes, well, what if I gave you a scholarship? Would you
Well,
come to
yeah.
Chicago? I said, I don't know anything about Chicago, but yes, I'll go.
I love it. Good
And
for
so
you.
I went, and it was cold.
I'm sure compared to California. Now,
Yeah.
you receive, which is very unusual, because these people are really particular what they do.
Yes.
You received a sponsorship from Swarovski crystal.
I did.
How did that happen?
Well,
That's my favorite crystal.
Right, I
oh
was-
my God.
Mine too. We like sparkle.
Yeah,
Like,
I
got
mean,
a little,
hello.
little bit right
Hello.
there. Yeah. But I was in the painting department, but I dress up to
Right.
paint because
Hello.
why not?
Of course.
And people were giving me
But
a
a
hard
Ralph's when I
time.
dress up,
The
yeah.
painters were like, "Well, you don't look like a painter." I'm like, "What does a painter look like?" I didn't get the dress code, And so I had a professor who goes, "You gotta try out for the or I guess not audition, show this,
Right.
but apply for the fashion department," which was this big interview process and this whole thing. And once I was in there, I go, oh, okay, this
Yeah.
is a big deal within the school, right? And so I get in, and I go, okay, well, this is obviously what I'm doing now. And
Right.
I, made things with my mom, but I didn't know how to pattern or really sew. So I learned an entirely new skill while I was there.
Love it.
But coming from a place of dance, I think I had a different relationship with clothing because when I was making things, I was thinking about people dancing in them.
I get it, which was fabulous.
Yes.
Moving, swirling,
So
whatever.
I had this idea for this dress that would be sound and motion sensitive, and all these little lights would be woven in between it. And it was right at the beginning of that technology
Right.
in clothing. And so I hand sewed all these little lights with this conductive thread and found a lady in Asia on the internet who programmed it
Oh
with
my
me,
God,
who was
right.
also a single mom.
Oh my goodness.
And then I, presented it to Swarovski, which was our sponsor, and said, hey, what if this thing was covered in crystal? And so they gave me a scholarship and sponsored me throughout my 3 years in that department.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. We're going to see a little promo of something that you're doing now. So here we go. Audience. I'm telling you, you are unreal. Why, seriously, did you choose burlesque?
Well, I feel like burlesque chose me. I felt like, you know, I always have like, okay, well now I'm in the fashion department. I'm going to go probably embroider in some couture house and make all these, you know, amazing garments and things. But while I was in school, when I was off duty and at night, I would go into the drag bars and gay clubs and dance. And I made so many great friends. And then they're like, you need to be on stage with us. And so this is where I started melding my art, all my dreams. And I honestly thought I was never going to dance again. So here I am being welcomed back by this family who's accepting me and saying, go on stage, you know.
See the support.
And so full circle, now I'm performing again, but with the skills of fashion and art under my belt. I started thinking about, okay, how can I incorporate these things into a story? And burlesque is such, clothing is the core of it, you know, telling of the story.
What do you want our audience to know about the art form of burlesque and how it's evolved into what it is today? Because it's completely different.
Completely.
I mean, I think it's a piece of work now. It's an art.
Yeah.
Yesteryear, tell us more about it.
Well, you know, burlesque was kind of the blue-collar workers' version of a theater show, you know, except it was bawdier. It had like the stripper and the naughty humor, and it was the cheap tickets, and men and women would go, they'd see it together, and it was this kind of Americana theater that was created.
It wasn't an art form.
And it wasn't an art form. It was satire. It was making fun of politicians. The strippers were getting arrested
it was like
for
a vaudeville
showing too much
act in a
skin.
way.
Yeah, it was totally vaudeville, but I think just naughtier, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so all these legends of burlesque is how we talk about them now. You know, we're not celebrated the way that we are today.
Right.
And so it's a big, big part of my generation's purpose. A lot of the big performers of my generation are sharing their stories. Wow. We have fundraisers for them.
Oh, wow.
Help them to get their story in the history books, because they didn't think what they were doing was going to be something in history. But all of their stories and costumes and photos are what have inspired all of us.
Love it. I love it. You say that your mission statement is, it's important to make everyone feel like a star. Well, let's discuss that.
Well,
like I feel like a star that I'm with you right now. Hello.
Well, you are a star. What are you saying? You make me feel like a star.
But what do you mean?
Well, I think that, you know, so many people within, especially being a queer woman, I would get typecasted quite frequently, right? So I'm just being picked for pride, picked for this little thing. I go, but I'm gay all year round. You know, there's more to share. And so I feel like when I was thinking about my dream show, when I was just fantasizing about it, all the people I was imagining on stage, the people I've seen while I'm traveling, have never gotten beyond the bar show.
Yes.
They've never gotten the big lights, you know, camera action moment. And I'm like, these people deserve to be on stage, and the audience needs to see them.
I love it.
And so within my show, everybody deserves to be treated like a star. I give every performer the same amount of production value that I give myself, and that we stand equal on stage, and that our diversity and just being who we are makes us different.
Across.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I know it's very important part of your life is the advocacy for the LGBT community, and I know that well. I have a great-granddaughter who is like phenomenal.
Yes.
For inclusivity and diversity in the entertainment industry. So how do you take those of that community and blend them in? What do you do?
Well, I think that our cast, I was just talking to my MC, we were thinking about it. I'm like, I think we've just naturally are casting an all LGBTQ audience. I mean, cast.
Love it. Love it.
And I think it's not because we're going, okay, well, we need this person to fill this role, or we need this person to fill that role, so that we have a truly diverse show. I just think that it's so a part of who I am, and when I see talent, I gravitate towards diversity because it's so important and what needs to be seen. And the talent, though, always comes first, and these people are so talented that the diversity is just, second nature.
I love this. I love this. Be you.
Yes.
Be you, everybody. Be you. I tell that to my audience. No matter what, there's a song that I love. I am who I am. So there it is.
Just be you.
And that's for you.
Oh,
I love it.
I love it. Thank you.
But I think what you're doing for yourself, for your community, for others, I said is so important. Now you produced also, we're going to get to the one that you're doing now, but Envy. Tell us about Envy. I mean, I'm like, okay, what is Envy about?
See, she did some research.
Yeah,
She's like, excuse me, but what's
not
Envy?
just a pretty face.
She's like, what's Envy?
Okay, what's Envy like?
Envy or Envy is a nightlife event that my partner and I started together. I
love it.
So we love a good party, right?
Yeah, me
but
too.
we love a good party that you can dress up for, right? And we like to get our looks on and go see the other looks in the room. Like, Pink, you're doing the most with this look. It's beautiful, right? So Envy is a much smaller event, but it's also doubles as our charity fundraiser. So every event that we do, we raise money for something. And so we did it when there was the fires in Australia. We raised money for the animals that were all burnt, and we've done things for the Trevor Project, Marsha P. Johnson Institute for trans women, and so
very important.
Very important.
Got to more of that. More
it
of
is,
that.
and so the event is a good time, but it's always a party for a cause.
I think that's fabulous. We're ready for another little promo for them to see. Okay, we're ready. Wow, they're fast and furious, but they're adorable.
Yes.
I love them. Whoever did them did a very good job.
I edit them all myself.
Do you really?
I do.
Good for you.
Yes. I'm a very DIY gal.
Yeah,
Seriously.
I was going to say, yeah.
I can't film them, but I do edit them together.
But that's the important part.
Yeah.
The latest presentation is Beauty of Burlesque. Now, that celebrates the precision of the art of burlesque, exceeding any boundaries that existed previously with the participants. What is that?
So,
what are you talking about here?
What is that?
Yeah.
Right? So I think that for a long time in burlesque history, burlesque was marketed towards the male gaze.
Okay.
Right?
Yes,
it was a body, sexy show for men. Right?
Right.
And their lady dates. But it was primarily marketed towards a male audience and then a hetero male audience. Right. So, here I am, a gay woman doing burlesque. What does that mean? You know what I mean? I'm not for men in the way that people are saying. Yeah, and I'm like, well, why am I attracted to this? Why do I want to do this?
Okay.
And so it was because I think that my sensuality was beautiful and needed to be owned. And I think that women are so vilified for our sensual selves. And it was something that I kind of took back. And the people in my show all were doing the same thing, but I found them all around the world. I go, oh, we're all tuning into this idea.
There you go.
And
they just had to be brought together.
And we're all brought together. And so that's where what we're doing is changing the story of who the audience is. Now the audience is so diverse and filled with women especially.
We're going to talk about that in 1 minute.
At one time or another, every family is faced with mobility issues for a loved one. Call Before You Fall is here for you with all the safety and mobility solutions your family needs. Come see Alex in the Call Before You Fall showroom, or if you can't, they'll come to you in one of their fully stocked service vans. So put your mind at ease today. Call Alex at 1-800-829-1491. Remember, Be on the safe side.
Celebrate Valentine's Day with Beauty of Burlesque at Los Angeles' historic Globe Theater, February 17th and 18th. Featuring world-famous burlesque star Miss Tosh and her all-star cast, these dazzling shows will be better than ever before. Visit beautyofburlesque.com for more information and to purchase tickets.
So Beauty of Burlesque is your dream of putting it together, but how did you put it together?
How,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I'm completely self-funded. And again, I'm not Rockefeller, right?
I get it.
So
I get it. Sound like me.
how I
I'm
did
too,
this
yeah.
is I worked many different jobs. My family is really big into the animal world. My mom manages an animal hospital. So growing up, we walked dogs. So Beauty of Burlesque is solely funded on me dog walking.
I love it.
Walking
Love it.
dogs.
for
And
you.
I'm so grateful for the little animals I've taken care of. All their energy is in this show.
Right.
They're like, you go do it, right? But truly, and you know, like I always say, there's no shame in working.
No.
Whatever the work is, work. And if you want to create your dream, you need the money to do it, then
That's
do the
right.
work.
And she adores the subtle phrase that it's the man who pays. Yet there's one vital thought she will place above all of the things I make mention of. That most of all a lady loves to love.
Yes, everyone. This is show business at its best. So remember to see Beauty of Burlesque at the Globe Theater with this delightful, wonderful, fun-loving lady, Miss Tosh. God bless everyone, and remember, it ain't over till we say it's over.